Hey now, guys, what is happening? This is a nice shot, right? Kinda, sorta. Got to see some of my epics there. Hey, just as a a warning. I'm a little. I had an awesome late lunch, early dinner with some drinks, so I'm a little lit from rum and vodka. So I'm a little but it's all good though. Let's get through this, guys. Don't worry about it. I feel great. I'm going to talk about Volume 3 of Thunderbolts that just came out late last month, May 27th of this year. Volume 3, 1999 to 2000. Oh my God. It's funny. I had to read Volume 2 just a little bit to catch up because I had forgotten what had happened. So yeah, what did happen? Hawkeye is the leader of the Thunderbolts. They got new members like Charcoal, this dude right here who's actually a black dude named Charlie Burlingham, who's a high school student. And they have, of course, Jolt, who's been in the on the book since the first issue. Well, she gets killed, which I'm so happy because, oh my God, I fucking hated this bitch. Jolt, right here. She was like Jubilee, like so fucking annoying, so fucking Asian. Oh God, what is it about Marvel? They just can't write good Asian women at all. I fucking hated this bitch, and I'm so glad that they killed her. Oh my God. So I'm just gonna wrap it up in a big nutshell. So the Avengers are fighting Justin Hammer. He comes back. He's got this thing. Oh my God. No, he doesn't have this thing. This company up in Canada has this thing called Omega 32 that Justin Hammer wants. So he sends the Beetle in armored form to go get it for him. But the Beetle works for the Commission of Superhuman Activities, the CSA, which is Henry Peter Gyrick and Val Cooper working with the government. Of course, we know Henry Peter Gyrick being a thorn in the Avengers side. Val Cooper, who used to work for X Factor. They're now on their own. And Omega 32, there's nothing really about that in this volume about Omega 32, but everybody wants this thing. Beetle gets it for Justin Hammer to show allegiance, but meanwhile, the Beetle, Abner Jenkins, horrible name, is in jail, right? So the beginning, issue 26, is a riot issue. A riot issue. Like there's just prisoners. It takes place in Seagate Prison, which for those of you who may not remember, Seagate Prison was where Luke Cage got his powers way back in the 70s on Hero for Hire, which I read long ago, a few months ago. But yeah, like in 1972, Luke Cage was put in prison. He became Power Man, yada yada. We all know the story. So for whatever reason, of course, the vault has been destroyed. The raft hasn't been introduced yet. So there's no place, no prison to put superpowered heroes but Seagate Prison for whatever reason, which is located on a small island off of Georgia, apparently. Which would make sense because it's right on the water, kind of, sort of. It's on an island off of Georgia. And there's a big prison break, and then everybody's just like, oh. But it turns out Justin Hammer tries to break Abner Jenkins out, the Beetle, formerly the Beetle, now not Techno. God, that's Fixer. I always get Fixer and the Beetle mixed up. The Beetle becomes Mach 1, the Fixer becomes Techno. So the Beetle, Mach 1, is eventually broken out of jail by Val and Henry, who for some reason they call him Peter, but it's Henry Peter Gyrick. But at first, with issue 26, he's like, no, I'm just going to quell this riot and just chill in my cell. He's got Boomerang getting him out, Whirlwind, the Rhino. But he's like, nah, I'm just going to quash it and just stay in my cell. Of course, then he gets released later on. Issue 27 and 28, and I think 29 has Archangel, which is the cover. This is issue 27. Archangel from the X-Men, I'll put it right here, helps the champion, not the champions, the Thunderbolts. So the Thunderbolts managed to get a Champ's Craft, which was the Champions Craft back in the 70s. But Archangel, being a former member of the Champions, is like, I want to know who's getting this champ's craft. So then he discovers, oh, it's the Thunderbolts. Wait, you guys are criminals. So I'm going to stop you because you guys are bad news. Even though Hawkeye is with them. It's Hawkeye, Moonstone, and Songbird. Moonstone being, of course, the villain. She's no longer Meteorite. She's now back to being Moonstone. Songbird used to be Screaming Mimi, who used to hang out with Angar the Screamer. And Hawkeye's just Hawkeye. And they fight Archangel because Archangel is convinced, Warren Worthington III, is convinced that the Thunderbolts are bad because they were revealed to be the Masters of Evil. Then, of course, he goes on a mission with them. Who does he fight? I forgot. He goes on a mission in 28 and I think 29, and it turns out he realizes, oh, okay, these guys are on the level. They're cool. They get abducted by, who was it? Fuck. Just read the fucking book, guys. That's my stock answer. But yeah, he's like, okay, cool. You guys are legit. Keep the champ's craft. Goodbye. So he takes off. Then it becomes a whole deal. I know issue 34, they fight the Hulk. Hawkeye gets the bright idea like, hey, let's drum up some good publicity for ourselves and show everybody that we're not bad guys, that we're not criminals. But of course, that goes horribly awry, and the whole thing just implodes or explodes in their faces. And Hawkeye's just like pissed off. He's like, fuck. A chance to capture Hulk never goes well for anybody, and it does not go well for the Thunderbolts. Meanwhile, there's Dallas Riordan. For those of you who don't remember, in Volume 2, she turns out to be the Crimson Cowl. And she was in love with Eric Jostin, who is Atlas, who was formerly Power Man, who was formerly Goliath. He was part of the Masters of Evil too. But now he's a good guy. He's a legit good guy, and he's like, hey, I like this girl, and he's in jail with her. No, he's not in jail with her, but he goes to visit her in jail because she was captured in issue 25. She was the Crimson Cowl, and she sent literally 25 members of the Masters of Evil to Mount Charteris, which is now the Thunderbolts' home. It used to be her home, her base, and now the Thunderbolts have moved in and taken it over. So now she's in jail. Eric is still in love with her. Eric, meaning Atlas. I like using their real names. I don't know why. When they're in battle, then I'll use their code names. But when they're acting human, I use their real names. So suddenly she's broken out of jail, which turns out to be the V Battalion. She becomes Citizen V. So now there's a female Citizen V, which later turns out to be Dallas. Dallas has gone from the liaison, when they were heroes in New York, she went from being the mayoral liaison to the Thunderbolts to now being their enemy in Crimson Cowl, which, as we all know, Crimson Cowl used to be Ultron back in the 60s Avengers series. And then she becomes a hero in Citizen V with the V Battalion, and then she's trying to expose them for being fraudulent, even though they're supposed to be the good guys. They hunt Nazis or whatever. That's later on towards the end of this volume. But in the meantime, it's like she breaks out, and then it's like, oh, where is she? So Eric is like, I gotta find her. But meanwhile, she hooks up with Mankiller, who was one of the Masters of Evil's members who attacked them in issue 25. She's now big, muscular bartender at a sports bar, and Eric is continuously and constantly going there, and he knows who she is, she knows who he is, but they don't say anything. Eric has this thing where he's like, oh gee, should I turn her in? Should I, I used to be in her shoes, and maybe I shouldn't, but I should because now I'm a good guy. So there's a whole back and forth thing. Later on, Techno does Norbert Ebersol, aka the Fixer, aka Techno. He's come back. Ogre, funny, the Ogre, who was a villain of the X-Men way back in the 60s, hooked up with Factor 3, which was Blob, Vanisher, Unus the Untouchable, Mastermind, basically the members of Magneto's Brotherhood, was Factor 3, and the Mutant Master and all that stuff. Ogre comes back, and in the background is fixing their costumes, fixing their champ's craft. He brings them jet steeds. And they're like, wow, we have elves here fixing our shit. But then they discover, oh, it's the Ogre. Who the fuck is Ogre? He's a third-rate villain. And then Techno finds their location, abducts. No, he doesn't abduct Ogre, but he puts Ogre in suspended animation, and then he takes his place. So now the Thunderbolts think they're dealing with Ogre, but Ogre is really Techno. And Techno, for those of you who don't remember, when it was discovered that the Masters of Evil, when the Thunderbolts were Masters of Evil, Baron Zemo came to light. Techno sided with Baron Zemo, but then he got killed, and then brought himself back. I forget if he was killed before or after the revelation, but he's now a cybernetic component organism thing. And now he has morphed into Ogre, but he can still morph back into his own self, but he's just a spy now for, I guess, himself to watch his teammates, while the real Ogre is in suspended animation. So throughout the whole thing, they go off in fights with the V Battalion, Brute Force, the Imperial Forces. The Hulk. They look for Halley's Jolt, Halley Takahama's killer. She gets killed by a sniper, and there's this woman named Gail Rogers who is gets a hold of the Omega 32 files, and she gets killed, and then her mole Bobby gets killed, and then it turns out it's the Scourge of the underworld has come back, and then he targets Baron Zemo. He kills Baron Zemo eventually, and then they imply that Scourge, here's a spoiler, guys, turn it off if you don't want to hear it. It turns out, well, no, they don't reveal it, but they allude to the fact that Scourge is Bucky because, not Winter Soldier, but Bucky, because he sees the costume and he freaks out. Trust me, when you read it, guys, it's a strong implication that it's Bucky Barnes. Steve Rogers, Bucky Barnes. Steve Rogers' teammate. You guys know, who cares? All right, Bucky from World War II. So, and that makes sense that he would kill Baron Zemo, because Baron Zemo was the one who set that plane off to explode when Captain America and Bucky tried to stop him during World War II. So that's that. Oh, and then towards the end, Scourge tracks Techno back to Mount Charteris, which again is the Thunderbolts' new base. And he doesn't do it yet, but it looks like he's going to kill Techno or something. Something's going to happen. So I cannot wait for Volume 4 of Thunderbolts. We don't know when that's going to be announced, so we'll see. But in the end, the Thunderbolts, oh God. And here's what pisses me off, guys. And it's not about race. I don't know. But Fabian Nicieza, oh, by the way, Kurt Busiek leaves the book after issue 33, and Fabian Nicieza takes over with issue 34. From 34 to 75, Fabian Nicieza is the writer. So we had the first 33 issues with Kurt Busiek, the first 3 volumes, and then halfway through, Fabian Nicieza takes over. Fabian Nicieza, by the way, I love his writing. Great stuff. Pop culture references from Metallica, one of my favorite heavy metal bands, to fucking he brings up Sega Dreamcast, like Jolt and Charcoal talk about playing Sega Dreamcast, which is so dated, but I love it because it's so 1999, 2000, guys. If you were alive, you know what I'm talking about. When Sega put out their last hardware gaming console, the Sega Dreamcast. I love it, but I don't like this, and I looked it up online. There was some controversy about him turning Abner Jenkins, or Abe Jenkins, the Beatle, now Mach 1, into a black guy. He literally turns a white man into a black guy and changes his name to Matthew Davis, because I guess Abe Jenkins doesn't sound black enough. I'm not racist, guys, but hear me out here. I just don't know where the thought is, and I hate it. And Melissa Songbird hates it too. She's lost the attraction for Beetle, because that's her man, and now he's black, and she's like, ugh. And he's like, oh my goodness, how come you haven't kissed me in 2 days? Oh, since the change, you know. And by the way, now we have 2 black guys in the group. Charcoal, who's a high school kid, and now Mach 1 becomes Mach 2. He literally upgrades to Mach 2. He's black, even though he was white. And we have a lot of black people here and there. There's Eamon, who's with the V Battalion. Battlestar, who's with Silver Sable's group, the Wild Pack. And I bring that up because towards the end, 38 to 41 is a 4-part series. They get Sandman to help them break into Symkaria because Atlas is, he snuck on board the V Battalion's ship, the Vanguard, to find Dallas. But they end up in Symkaria. And then Thunderbolts have to team up with the, what council are they called? The, what do they call it? It begins with a B. The Principal? They hook up with this council within the V Battalion to rescue Atlas, to stop Sandman, and in the end, Dallas breaks out of her cell, so she's going to go after Crimson Cowl. It looks like Scourge is going to kill Techno. Hawkeye's hooking up with Moonstone. They've been kissing and hanging out and having picnics together. So while Songbird and Mach 1, now Mach 2, are not coming together because obviously she's racist and she doesn't like black dudes and she doesn't like that her white man is now a black dude. Yeah, guys, seriously, this is what's happening in this volume. Volume 3, Targeted for Death. Okay? Yeah. Oh, and I didn't even mention the annuals. So, Thunderbolts Annual 2000 has them. Oh, it has Hawkeye going to hell, literally to hell, to rescue Mockingbird's soul from Mephisto, and the Thunderbolts, of course, join him, and they face their own private hell. But it turns out that Damon Hellstrom tricked Hawkeye into getting his wife Patsy Walker, who also died, Hellcat, into bringing her back because apparently that was Mockingbird's wish for Hawkeye to rescue Patsy. And he's pissed off. Of course, Clint is pissed off, but he's like, okay, whatever. And he does it. Patsy's saved. So then it's not necessarily I didn't feel like it was a sequel, so I didn't write it as such in the post. Then in Avengers Annual 2000, it picks up with Patsy going back to her home in Centerville, and there's Hetty Wolf and the Avengers. She goes back home and discovers that the Sons of the Serpent and the Salem 7, as commissioned and led by Nicholas Scratch, have taken over Centerville. And her friend Hetty Wolf is now in charge of the town. No, she's not in charge of the town. They turned Centerville into an amusement park. Centerville is where Patsy grew up. The whole 1940s comic book. It's very meta. So then when she realizes that demons have taken over the town, she calls them the Avengers. Hawkeye and Songbird show up. Not the rest of the Thunderbolts, but just Hawkeye and Songbird. They come with some of the Avengers, like Captain America, Scarlet Witch, Moondragon. Yeah, she's part of the group for some reason. And Iron Man, our guy Iron Man, I miss him. I miss reading Iron Man books. So then they go to Centerville. They beat up and take care of the Sons of the Serpent, Salem 7, but they don't realize that Nicholas Scratch is behind it. But in the end, Patsy stays behind in Centerville. She doesn't become an Avenger, a Defender, nothing. She's back from hell, and that's it. So it doesn't really feel like a sequel to the Thunderbolts Annual, so I didn't really write it as such, but it could have been. I don't know. I think that's pretty much it, guys. This was a really chaotic book. Love Kurt Busiek's writing, love Fabian Niciez's writing. I question his motive for turning Beetle, Mach 1, Mach 2, into a black dude. There's too many black people in the team already, too. I don't know. I just like my heroes to stay white and pretty, like me. So, all right, guys. I'm so drunk, but I love it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, or don't, whatever. But keep reading these epics, guys. Read Volume 3, Targeted for Death of Thunderbolts. I'm sure I missed a lot of shit, guys. So leave any questions you have in the comments below. And I will see... Oh! Next book will be, guys... Silver Surfer, guys. We are going to do it, guys. I'm almost done. Well, the royal we. I'm almost done, guys. Got about like 31, 32, 33 more books left before I'm done completely. Gonna bang through 11 volumes of Silver Surfer and then 21 volumes. So that's 32. So 32 books left, guys. Then the 21 volumes of Thor. Excuse me. Yeah, some food. Some food from lunch today. So this is what it's going to be, guys. Volume 1 of Silver Surfer, then 3 through 9. I already put in the order for Volume 12, so I'll get that. 12 through 14, and then we move on to Thor, guys. So this is it, guys. 60s Submariner, guys. 1966 to 1968. Nothing but Fantastic Four issues. And I think, Tales to Astonish 92 to 93. And a lot of Fantastic Four books in this. So the first few, like literally the first 10 appearances of Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four, and then Tales to Astonish. I think he fights, he fights Hulk. Here we go. Right there. And look at this, guys. This is the first print of Volume 1 with the early, no longer usable font. So it's like early. Look at that. Everything just looks so different. This is from 2014, guys. So this book right here that I'm holding is already 11 years old. And this is going to be the next one, guys. Silver Surfer Volume 1, When Calls Galactus, which we're going to start off with the trilogy. Yes! Love it, guys. You know you love to see it. All right, guys. That's it for me. Take care, guys. I'll see you in a couple days. Bye.